Welcome. Welcome. Back with another episode of the Chemotherapy Podcast. This is episode number 9. We got some things to talk about. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. Hope everyone was safe out there. I'm writing prescriptions. I'm here to work on me. I'm also here to work on you. Let's make us a better us. I like that. You like that? Got a special guest here with me today. We're gonna really get into it. Yes. You know I get to it when I do it. Either you're gonna love me or you're gonna hate me. There's no in between. Vibe with me. Sunday vibes. But on Monday we collide. Appreciate everyone that be checking me out. Appreciate all the support. I really appreciate that. Shout out to all the haters. Keep on, baby. I really appreciate that too. It ain't gonna stop. We gonna keep it going. This is very much needed. Believe that. Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome to another episode of the Chemotherapy Podcast. I have a special guest here with me today. None other. The one and only. My heart, my everything. It's my mother. You gonna introduce yourself to the people?
Yes, I am the one that Chemo's always saying, I love my mama. I am Pam, known by a lot of other people by Little Pam. But I'm Pamela Collier-Kunji, previously Pamela Collier and Pamela Price.
Hey. Kudos. Come on. I mashed the wrong button. But we gonna make it do what it do, man. This mom's. It's my mom's, man. Give it up for mama. Hello, my mama. But in the same sense, give it up for the 9th episode of the Chemotherapy Podcast as well. Hey. I don't know if the magic juice got me. I think I mashed like 3 wrong buttons to begin with. We off to a rocky start already, man, but you already know what it is. How you doing, mama?
I am doing great. Blessed abundantly, more than I can think or ask. So thank you for even allowing me to be a part of your podcast.
Hey, it's an honor for me to have you on the show. I'm excited to have my mom next to me, being a part of the Chemotherapy podcast. My mom has always been a big supporter of me, you know, my biggest supporter in life, you know, so kudos to you, moms. Love you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Come on now.
Thank you.
Don't get shy on me. You got to talk.
I will.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to give a shout out to all the supporters, the ones that do support, you know, but one thing I do realize, you know, I give a lot of support to a lot of people, different people that I know, people that I don't know, but, you know, it's hard to get that support back. I just want to thank the ones that do support and do take their time out to check out the Chemotherapy podcast. It's very much appreciated. It's going to keep going no matter what. But I'm very pleased and happy to have my mother on the show tonight. And we're going to get right into it, man. Like I said, we got some things to talk about, you know. So introduce yourself, Mama, and we want to start off with the upbringing, you know, because Mama came up in a different era than we live in now. You know, a lot of things was different. So how was it back in your day, Mama, when out of Bell, we both out of Bellwood, by the way. Shout out to everybody from uptown Bellwood. Shout out to the whole Columbus, Georgia. But how was your upbringing, Mama?
I was raised during a time when you had to respect your elders.
Yes.
Your parents raised you so that you knew when to speak, when not to speak, what to do, and what not to do. And if you went against the grain, there were consequences.
There were consequences.
For your actions, regardless.
Yes. I missed the button on that one. It is consequences for your actions.
You were not allowed to be in the room when grown folks were carrying on conversations.
At all.
At all. You were not allowed to interject or to be a part of that. Children stayed in what they call children's place.
Child's place, yes.
So we were raised to know when to speak and when not to.
And when not to speak.
So I was raised in the era where discipline ruled. Mm-hmm. And it was, you knew, they controlled us through fear, really. Because if you broke the rules, you knew what to expect. So in order not to deal with the consequences of your actions would rule and make your decisions for you. Because if you were ever called by your full name, you knew you were in trouble.
Who called you by your real name?
If Margie ever said Pamela Gail Davis, you knew you were in trouble.
Margie. Rest in peace to my grandmother.
Yes.
Love my grandmother.
I was raised by a single parent who believed in respect. But most of all, she believed in God.
All around the board.
All the things that she couldn't give, she made sure that you understood that God was the provider. Mm-hmm. And so she taught us to look first to the heavens, that from which all your health and strength come from.
Right.
That no other help or strength I know. Mm. So even though she couldn't give, she knew that he could. And she taught us to have faith in the things that he would provide and the things that he could do.
Right.
And not to feel left out or abandoned or without. Because if it was meant for you to have it, he would make sure that you got it.
You got it.
And that was the difference in being raised then and now.
Now, it's a lot of differences. Now, because I see a difference in my generation as is the generation after me. You know, it's very different. You know, some people have morals and values, home training. Some don't. But like I said in a previous episode, I can't even really say that you don't got no home training, because you could have the home training, but you just chose to go out and do otherwise. But I knew it was consequences to my actions in my days, and it was consequences to actions in your days.
Yes. So
we can relate on that topic alone. But it's certain things that you didn't have that we have, and then there's certain things that my generation after me has that we didn't have. Like, what are some of the things you had growing up?
I had a mother that I knew that loved me, number one.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. What
as far as material things, there weren't a whole lot. You were given clothes, food to eat, and shelter, and an education. Those were the things that you had, whether you appreciated them or not.
Did you have your own room?
No. There was no such thing as having an individual room. We shared a room, me and my two brothers, or me and my brothers and my sisters, however many could fit in that room. There was no such thing as an individual room.
So one bed?
No. We may have had two or three in a bed. Bunk beds, a full-size bed that maybe 3 people slept in, 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom.
Okay. I remember that.
Yes. So we was a family that we was raised together, close-knit. And the things that we are accustomed to now, that everybody having their individual room and a bathroom of their own, it wasn't that way for us.
Right.
We shared, and we shared alike.
And when I say I remember that, I remember some of my cousins as kids, we slept like that in our grandmother's bed. 2 at the top or 3 at the top and 2 at the bottom. So I do remember that phase right there too. But nowadays, you know, kids, they got it made. They got their own bedroom. They got a TV in their room. I had a TV in my room growing up too, though.
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
It was a floor model TV. But hey, I was blessed. I had a TV, a floor model TV. I think I had like a Nintendo. I had an Atari too, and then Nintendo. Y'all didn't have things like that.
No.
No game systems?
No game systems. The games were outside. We were children that would play church. That was one of our main activities. We would run and play hide and seek, or 1, 2, 3, got you, or 1 potato, 2 potato.
Throw up tag,
totally
throw up football,
outside.
throw up
Football, racing, you name it. And then we did it on the concrete.
Hula hooping.
Hula hoop was my thing. I used to live at the playground.
What's the thing you used to tell me about the song that the rubber band
Man. I went to the concert with the rubber band man, and they had a big rubber band, and I came home with one of those rubber bands, and we would dance with the rubber band from the song Rubber Band Man.
Just inside the rubber band, just stretching it
Yes.
Rubber band dance.
Yep. One of the things that I know that is different from now is being able to say I want. If I went to my mom and said, Mom, I want something, she said one in one hand and wish in the other, and see which one come first. And it wouldn't wish, it was something else. SHIT.
Sounds like Margie to me.
But she told you, God didn't promise you that he would provide your wants. He promised you that he would provide everything that you need. So I grew up knowing that my needs would be provided. And she made sure that those things were provided, and she trusted in God to be able to provide for us. Mm-hmm. She raised me to know that no matter what an individual did for you, that it was only done because God touched that individual.
Right.
Because if he had not touched that person, whatever was done would not have been done for you. So I grew up knowing that people in your lives and the things that are done according to the way I was raised was because of the grace of God. Mm. So God played a major role in my upbringing. Mm-hmm. And to say that as a teenager, I was pregnant at the age of 14. Mm-hmm. And the day that I told my mom that I was pregnant, her exact words to me was, "Don't you ever let me catch you walking around with your head hung down, because you have done nothing to be ashamed of, that God placed us here to have babies." She said, "You didn't have to do it so early, but now that you have, don't you ever walk around with your head down." She said, "As long as I have a place to stay, that baby will have a place to stay.
Yes.
As long as I have food to eat, that child will also have food to eat."
Yes.
So I was told from day one by my mom to be proud and to take care that God would still bless me in the midst of it. At that age of 14, a lot of my friends' parents probably felt that I wasn't the child that their children needed to hang with.
They looked down on you.
Yes, things were different.
Oh.
But I had some friends, number one, that stayed with me, Faye, and we've been friends since 2nd grade.
Shout out to Faye.
Yeah.
Faye is very
but
nice.
I learned at an early age that people look at where you are and don't know where God is taking you. There is nothing that happened in my life that God has not used for his glory or for his blessings or to bless others. So I am a woman that had that child at age 14.
14.
But as of today, that child is 46 years old.
46 as of today.
She is going to receive her doctorate degree.
Doctorate.
On May the 13th from a parent that was a child raising a child.
Hold on. Shout out to Dee Dee. That's a very big accomplishment, man. A doctor of nursing. Love you, Dee Dee. Congratulations. Amazing.
Yes. And I say that to say this to those that may not understand. Regardless to where you are in life, your choices that you makes a difference as to how far you succeed in life. And I'm sure there are those that knew me then and that know me now that would have never thought that I am where I am today, and I am well blessed. God knows I am.
Hey, I mean to interrupt you, but I didn't think you'd be where you at today as your son. I take my hat off to you.
I didn't think I'd either because I wasn't playing. But if you allow God to lead, guide, and direct you, you'll be surprised where he will take you.
Yes.
And that is why I am where I am today, because of him. Because of my mama, who taught me to lean not unto my own understanding, but in all my ways acknowledge him, and he will. She didn't say he might. She said he will direct your path.
Right.
And he has done just that.
Done just that.
And it started with an incident where I had taken my brother to church one night. And I was outside. He was told me he'd be ready at 8 o'clock. And I was outside blowing the horn outside of the church. And the person that was carrying on the service, he said, "Who's out there blowing the horn?" And Donnie knew it was me. So he came outside and he said, "Pam, Bishop said, please come into church." So I got out of the car being obedient, and I sat at the very back, right at the door.
Hold on, Mama. You outside the church blowing the horn?
Outside the church blowing the car horn.
Continue on. Continue on.
So as I sat at the backside back in the day, and they may not do it now, but they had what they call prophecy. So they were doing prophesying, and he came back there to me, and he told me, he said, "God told me that he wants you to go to school, and he's going to bless you. He's going to open doors for you." And I started going to school, and God continued to open doors. He didn't wait till I got a degree. He started open doors immediately once I started walking in the direction of what he had told me. So the thing is, you have to know when God is speaking, and he may send the message to you in a way that you're not totally familiar with.
Through someone else.
Yes, through someone else. Because I didn't go there to get a message. I went there to pick my brother up, and he needed to come on because I need to go back home.
Right.
But I was obedient and went in, and that's where God started showing me that I have things, greater things for you, more than you will ever know. And I'm saying that for those that know when you hear his voice, he's waiting on you. You're not waiting on him. Everything he's promised you is already there. You just have to be willing to do the work.
Take one step towards.
Amen.
Then take 2 steps back.
Yes.
The Most High.
Yes. I am a true believer that God is in control. And if you allow him to lead, he will guide you into places that you never imagined.
And I'm a witness to the things in my mother's life, through the hard times, through the struggles, through the stress, even happy times. I can't sit here and say we didn't have happy times either. We did. But I witnessed my mother go through things and kept going. She was never broken in my eyes. Now, as a child, I could see she was not broken as a child, but really not knowing. She might have mashed it good. She might have hid it good. But my mother to me, is a true warrior. Of never giving up. She had ambition. She was determined and dedicated and focused, like none other I ever seen in my life. And I'm not just saying this because it's my mother. I've seen my mother work multiple jobs and have multiple hustles on the side. When I say hustles, I don't mean drugs. Every black person does not sell drugs. She did hair on the side. She did taxes on the side. It's just multiple things for multiple incomes. Hustler, you talking about hustler of all hustlers? My mother is truly the hustler of all hustlers in my eyes, man, because I seen her do so many different things to bring income into the house and always kept food on the table. You know, I remember you had that one car that didn't it didn't have a window in it, and then you used to drop me off at school and pick me up at school, and that. As a young kid, and I was like, dang, my mama outside with the car with the with the plastic on the window, and, but you did what you had to do as a mother. And as the years went on, I seen you elevate. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of kids don't understand your prime example for life. Sometimes, and I'm not saying in all cases, because in some certain cases it's different, but in certain cases you're a prime example for life and your goals and the things that you want to achieve and how hard you should, it be right in front of you.
Yes.
I see my mother and my sister later on in life. I can't forget my pops. My pops worked too.
Yes.
He wasn't no deadbeat that laid around not working, and he worked too. He did his thing. I seen my mother tackle I'm talking about many different things, like not just job. I seen her tackle many things. And I was like, wow, this is an amazing woman right here. So my prime example still to this day is right in front of me. It's just a phone call away. I salute you for that, Mama.
Thank you. Oh.
Salute that. Gotta salute you for that.
But what I learned in life is God will put people, opportunities in your path. And are you willing to do what it takes? As he said, I've worked 4 jobs at one time, 7 days a week, to make sure that they had the things that they required. Mm-hmm. I would buy their clothes while sewing. Okay. Because I've worked 4 jobs at one time to make sure that they was able to have what they needed. They may not have been able to get what they want, but they got what they needed. And in working those 4 jobs, God would give me the strength to be able to go to school in between working 4 jobs. But I was determined to do the things that needed to be done to succeed. I wanted to be able to provide a better life for my kids than I thought my mom provided for me. Mm-hmm. So I worked hard to give them materialistic things, the things that they needed. They couldn't get what they wanted, but I made sure they had everything that they needed.
But wait, Margie did her best.
Yes.
Take nothing away from Margie. She did her best.
Yes.
All of us are not capable of the same things. We might, some of us have things that we go through. We might be in a certain, we might be stressed, depressed. That's stopping us from, all of us are not strong like others. But not to say that my grandmother was weak, in which she was not. But we all have certain things in life that we deal with. So when we speaking and when my mother's speaking, we're not taking nothing away from Margie. Let's make that understood.
Right. No, My mother made sure that she provided. We had a roof over our head, food to eat, and clothes on our backs. Mm-hmm. And I took that from her to make sure that my kids had the same. Because as I said, I had both of my kids at the age of 17. I was still living with my mom. And I didn't want her to be responsible for my kids. I knew it was my responsibility.
Right.
So that's the reason I did what I did as far as the 4 jobs, to make sure that I took on that responsibility and not to push it onto her.
Right.
Because she was gracefully doing everything she could for me and my kids before I was able to take care of them on my own.
Right.
So, no, I never took anything away from my mom. And in fact, I am who I am because of my mom.
Exactly. Back, you did the 4 jobs, because I witnessed all of this now. I witnessed my mother do multiple things for multiple incomes, and it was amazing to me. Get back to it.
Yeah, and going to school at night while working 4 jobs.
While going to school. Ooh.
But what?
Hold up. Hey, man, I'm all over the place tonight. While going to school. Now, you hear this now.
Yeah. But what I learned is that your life may be difficult, and there are things that you may be experiencing in life that God has blinded you to. Mm-hmm. Because I myself did not realize the struggles that I had experienced in life was so traumatic to others, but it was normal for me. Mm-hmm. Until I was in school and giving a speech and people sitting in the class crying. And I was on my job, and the topic was, if I could, I would. And people sat and cried because they all knew that I had a child at age 14. And I never regretted that. And they thought I would say that if I could, I would, and not have them children. No, that wasn't it. It was, if I could, I would continue to provide them a better life. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that I've always strived to do. But God kept me grounded. He kept me blind to a lot of the things that was going on in my life, because if I was aware of it, I probably could not have handled it as well as things were. But he will protect you in the midst of no matter what it is, if you would just lean on him, and he guides you. And when those things came to fruition and I was able to realize just how my life was, it was like, wow. Mm-hmm. And one of the prime examples was, while I was going to school at night, my baby brother Carl, he was married, had found out he had cancer, and he was supposed to close on his house one day. And I got home 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I called to see how the closing of the house went. And he said, I didn't go to the doc. I didn't go closing on the house. I'm like, why? He said, I had an appointment, and they told me I had 6 months to live. And he said, all I could think about was you. I'm like, me? Why would he think about me? He has a wife. He has 3 kids. And I'm the one that came to his mind. But he said, but I was always the one that everyone in the family depended on. And he just wondered now who was going to be there for me. And that's when I had to think about, was my life that bad? Or was it that hard? And I then truly had to focus on who all in my life had depended on me so. And he was one of those. I was raised to always protect my baby brother. I would fight boys in elementary school if they messed with Carl.
Uncle Carl. Rest in peace to my Uncle Carl.
Yes. So I guess he looked at me maybe like another mother to him. But that really made me realize how traumatic my life had been and how great it had been at the same time. Mm-hmm. So
Carl was the coolest, one of the coolest to me. His demeanor, the way he carried himself, to me.
Yeah. He was
quiet. I can't say how he was amongst others and, in his environment or where he was used to dwelling in. But to me, he was one of the most humble, laid back, coolest individuals that I ever came in contact with in life. I miss my uncle. I miss all my uncles. Carl, he was very like a very calm guy to me. He was very laid back and he stayed to himself. To me, he did. That's just how I received him.
He was that way from a child all the way through adulthood. He was just very quiet and kept to himself. Nonviolent, as you stated. He wouldn't even fight for himself. So that's why I had to fight off the boys when he was little. I would be the one getting the hits, and he'd be back there.
He still was
watching.
that guy, though. He still was that guy, though. He still was that guy.
Yes, he still was that guy. But he was my baby brother that I was told that I needed to always take care of, and I did the best that I could.
Yeah, that's wonderful, man. You know, I witnessed a lot when it comes to my mother doing the things she just mentioned too. But the thing that I wanted for what I get from what my mother's saying, and I hope that you get from what my mother's saying, is there's no excuses, man. Do away with the excuses. It don't matter what your circumstances is. There's always a way. Yes. You just have to keep your faith. You got to believe. You got to stay prayed up. You can do whatever it is you need to do. There's no excuse. My mother had children at a young age, had to work multiple jobs, and went to school in between all of that. And she did it. She made it happen. There's no excuses for anybody. How could I be lazy and not want to do anything and say this, that, and the third when I got a prime example right in front of me who overcame so much, you know, and made it happen? And when I say my mother's blessed and she continuously bless others, when I speak on my mother on my podcast, I speak genuinely from the heart about my mother. She's helped so many. She does for so many. She's so considerate and kind-hearted and generous to so many. It's like a chain and a link. If it was to disappear, the chain will no longer be. That's my mom's right there. She holds everything together, you know. And I take my hat off to her, man. I really do. Like, I don't even know if I could be the way my mother is. I might be like, hell, I ain't got that. Yeah, mama be there for everybody, man, you know. And then she holds stuff together, man. She helped a lot of people. It's really amazing to be. She not selfish in no way. That's amazing to be that way, to be willing to help whoever. I'm talking about people that ain't even family. Yes. I see my mother help plenty people that ain't even related to us, man. And I be like, wow, the things you done for this, you know, sometimes it bothers me. I ain't even gonna lie. But at the same time, it's none of my business either. But that's just who my mother is as a person. She just help people. But what I don't like is when people try to take advantage of my mother, you know what I mean? Knowing how kind-hearted she is, and knowing how much she helps, and knowing how unselfish she is, you know. I tend to think people sometimes take advantage of my mother, or try to take advantage of my mother, but my mother views it different from me.
Yes.
You know?
Well, I was told, and this is what I've always believed. God said, every time I bless you, I want you to bless someone else. Mm-hmm. And if I give you something and you're constantly holding it in your hand, I can't give you anything else. I need you to release it so that your hands are open to receive again. And as I feel, I want you to release. Feel and release. And it's not just materialistic things. You can feed an individual with words, right, wisdom, and knowledge. I can speak something into an individual's life that can feed them for life. Mm-hmm. And not give them something. If I give you money, you can spend it and the money is gone. But I can give you money, but also give you words of knowledge and wisdom and encouragement. And you can continue to hear those words repeatedly over and over and over and grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's what God has done for me. One Sunday morning, I woke up and I sent out a text to many people. I said, you are a millionaire when it comes to love. And as long as you keep giving it away, you will never be broke. I am a millionaire when it comes to love because I give it freely. He said, freely I give, freely you receive, and freely I give. And that's what I am. I give love. And it's not just in dollars. It's in deeds.
And that is an actual fact. From someone who gave my mother hell. From a young age all the way to adulthood, I can genuinely back that statement. Not just for that purpose alone, though. But my mother is someone, she never turned her back on me. Ever in life. And I done some things. And I done said some things. My mother's always been there for me. Still to this day. Not just financially, wisdom, knowledge. Wherever I need my mother, she's there. For me, for my sister, for family members, for strangers, for anybody. She's there. But trust and believe. One thing, like I said before, I don't like my mother being taken advantage of. And I never will like that. It just don't sit right with me. We gonna have to get some straightening about that. Amazing person, the best individual that I know in life as of today, to this date, is my mother. I've never met anyone like my mother. With the heart of my mother, the kindness of my mother. I don't ever think I will meet anyone that's like my mother. Maybe some that has similarities, but never like my mother. She's, in my eyes and in my heart, she's one of a kind. I'm blessed, and I thank the Most High for putting me where he placed me to have the mother that I have. I am truly grateful to have the mother that I have. And that's an honest statement. Truly blessed.
And just as Chemo stated, it starts with my mother. I would not be the mother that I am without the mother that God blessed me with. And as I've stated, a lot of things she could not give, but she gave me and taught me and showed me the most important thing in my life, and that is the relationship with God. She taught me that it wasn't the building. It was that one-on-one. And if you would allow him to lead, guide, and direct you, that you would be amazed of the things that he could do. So I love the way she loved. When my mother died, I did not know that she had that many friends. The church was so packed, I was shocked because the life she lived did not exemplify that she had touched that many people. But love, the things that was done many years ago, things that were said, shared, given, a biscuit cooked, a person fed, a clothes given, she had done that. And those people whom she had touched through her life showed up at the end of her life. And that's why I give, I share, I believe, I love, I pray, because she was that type of woman. She was a mother that was there for me. So I am a duplicate of my mother with just an enhancement.
And a slight bit of softness. Because Margie didn't goddamn play. But what I get from it, I was a kid. What I get from what my mother is saying and from me knowing my grandmother personally, you got people that judge you out here. They don't understand that as a human, you go through things. It's things in life that you got to deal with that you always, something like, well, not always, that sometimes it's very hard to deal with. So you run to certain things to cope with whatever you're going through. my grandmother drunk alcohol a lot. I drank alcohol too, you know. But that didn't define who my grandmother was.
Nope.
At all. So whether it's weed that you smoke or whatever drug or choice that you use, or whether it's alcohol, it ain't even got to be no drug at all. You can eat because you stress. You could do certain other things because that don't define who you are as a human being. My grandmother was an amazing individual. Yes. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. I got a lot of ass whoopings from my grandmother. But one thing about that, you got to catch me, baby. I ran from my grandmother when it was ass whooping time. I had to have cousins to help catch me, as my cousin Toya and my sister Dee Dee, or whoever was around at the time. You just not about to whoop me like that. I'm running from you, you know. And my grandmother cooked all the time, like all throughout the day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner. My grandmother cooked, man, and I have so many wonderful memories of me being with my grandmother, enjoying the company of my grandmother. And I used to do certain things to piss my grandmother off too. It's a one story, like I was taking a nap, and I think my grandmother was in there watching the stories and cooking at the same time. And I woke up. You know, I was a kid. I was a little bad kid too, and I just used to do random stuff. I woke up out the bed. You know, I was in bed by myself. My grandmother and I watching stories, cooking at the same time. I woke up out the bed, and I just lifted the mattress up, and I seen a $10 bill under there. I didn't touch the $10 bill just yet. I put the mattress down. I went into where my grandmother was, and I waited about a minute or two, and I was like, Grandma, can I have $1? And my grandma was like, I ain't got no money. Ain't got no money. In my mind, I'm like, she doesn't know about this $10 under the mattress. It is now mine. So I went in there, and I lifted the mattress up, and I got the $10, and I put it in my pocket, you know, because my grandmother told me she ain't had no money. So I'm like, oh, she don't know about this. So I waited all day. My grandmother never knew nothing about this $10 I had in my pocket. It was almost time for my mother to come pick me up. Now, mind you, this is before I was in elementary school. It was damn near time for my mother to pick me up. I don't know what happened. My grandma came in there and said, give my goddamn where my goddamn $10 at? Give my and I tried to hit her with this what I said, Grandma, you told me you ain't had no money. She was like, nigga, you don't get my goddamn $10, nigga. I had to go in my pocket and get it up. But I got a lot of memories with my grandmother, man. But I used to do things to tick my grandmother off from time to time because, you know, her reaction. I got so used to her reaction. She was aggressive in certain reactions, not aggressive individual all around, but just in certain. She was I'm gonna say headstrong and outspoken. Yes. I ain't gonna even say aggressive, just headstrong and outspoken. And as a kid, you take humor in that. It was funny to me at times. I miss my grandmother so. You okay? Yeah. I miss my grandmother so, man, and I just wanted to share that little story with you, man. I had fun times with my grandmother, man, on the daily, on the weekly. You remember Grandma used to look at the sun?
Yes.
Without even blinking her eyes.
And take all the kids outside and tell you to look up toward heaven from where comes your help and your strength, and just gaze in the sun.
And we couldn't do it. My grandmother used to stare at the sun.
Yep.
If you ain't never tried to stare at the sun before and you watch this episode, go outside tomorrow and try to stare at the sun without blinking your eyes or without. I done tried it. I don't know how my grandma done it.
But she did it.
She done it.
Yes.
And these is facts. So I love my grandma. I miss my grandmother. I miss my Uncle Carl. I miss my Uncle Donnie. I miss my Uncle Jerome. I miss Darnell, my cousin Darnell. I miss my grandfather, Zeddy Price. I miss my grandmother, Virginia Price. You know, I miss my family. It was a time where family was really family. But it's like nowadays, you know, it's like family ain't family no more. And I'm not saying as a whole, but in certain instances, you know what I'm saying? I think we need to start loving each other more and start spending more time with one another and start loving one another again. But not just family, but just as a community and as a whole. Love is important, you know. Being generous is important. Being considerate is important. Being respectful is important. And having your morals and your values intact is important. It really means something. It's so much evil out in the streets now. We're living in the midst of evil right now. Like the devil has taken over. When you go out your front door now, you don't even know if you're coming back home. And that's for anybody, not just for men. It's just for anybody. So much robbing, stealing, killing going on out here, from the cops to the black-on-black crime to whatever. Like, it's pure evilness out here that we live in amongst, you know. And I'm real cautious of where I go. I'm real cautious of where I take my child. You know, I'm real cautious. Self-preservation, self-love. You can't just roam freely like you could back in the days. It's just not safe out here nowadays. You never know what your outcome is going to be. But yeah. But like I said, you know, you got to be safe out here. Be safe where you go. Always be aware of your surroundings. Life is short. You're here one day, you're going the next. But I know when you leave this world, you go to the spirit realm. Life is not over. And that's one thing to look forward to, and that's one thing to be proud of. We exist here in this shell that we in. But when we leave here, we go to another. Life is not over for you. It continues on. But what we come up out of? Where we from?
Bellwood.
Where we from?
Bellwood.
Bellwood Heights, as we call Bellwood, Georgia. We come up out of Bellwood. You remember? I remember as a kid having dirt roads in Bellwood.
Yes.
You know?
Red dirt roads.
Red dirt. That's the South. Red dirt. I remember penny candy and penny cookies.
Penny candies and cookies and knuckles Cokes. And dime Cokes.
You
back
get
in the day.
$1 as a child. You done hit the jackpot, man. You know, with that little brown paper bag, you come out that store with that brown paper bag or 2 brown paper bags with cookies and 1 cent candy, man.
Yes.
1 cent cookies.
Okay, cookies.
One time for that. The lemon and the windmill cookies.
Yes.
The strawberry cookies with the strawberry icing on it. The lemon cookies with the lemon icing on the top.
Honey bun and peach sodas.
Oh my goodness. We had good times.
Yes.
Coming up where I came from, we had good times, man. I had a lot of guys that I came up with, a lot of females that I came up with, a lot of OGs. You know, the way the neighborhood used to be, everybody outside, people at the park, people cooking out, you know, we just stayed outside back in the day. Everybody outside riding their bikes, little kids with their BB guns, and it was so fun back in the days. Like, it's different now. It's very different now. It's like people don't even want to come outside nowadays. Like the children, they don't even want to come out no more.
Yeah, people don't embrace the neighborhood like they used to. Neighborhood was more of a family. not just your house, but plenty of houses, and children would go from house to house and play and have fun. And they looked out for each other. We looked out for each other as families. And it's just different. Our
generation, we was outside. You know, they just tried to keep me on lock during my day. They tried to keep me on lock, but I even started sneaking out the window, man. House parties and all that stuff like that. Skating center, going to the skate rink, the movie theater.
Bowling.
Everything. Bowling. You introduced us to bowling. We used to go bowling all the time. Like, it was so much fun back in the days, man.
All night skate-a-thons.
All night. You know, we did so much. But nowadays it's different. You know, your kids really don't even want to go outside nowadays and things of that nature. But we from Bellwood, man. Uptown, Columbus, Georgia. Bellwood Height used to be what? Bellwood Connector?
Yep.
It used to be the Bellwood Connector, but now it's
Veterans Parkway.
Veterans Parkway. That's where I'm from. I'm a 77. I'm a 70s baby. I was born in 77.
And I'm a 60s baby, and it was still Bellwood for us.
Still Bellwood. It's always forever Bellwood. You feel me? We're proud of where we from. We don't sugarcoat where we from. We embrace where we from. We love where we from. We love everything about how we was raised because that's part of who we are today. So with that being said,
Uptown, baby. All day. Bellwood. On 10. ENT, baby.
And what it do?
Smoke Price. Never stop hollering where I'm from. Uptown. Bellwood, Georgia. Columbus, Georgia. Vibe with me.
You got me fucked up. Never stop hollering about where I'm from. Born and raised in the same place my life begun. Uptown, nigga, Bellwood, Heights, the spot. No silver spoon niggas out here trying to make them a knot. The block hot. Still trying to put a nigga on lock, but can't stop nothing. Slow in the day, but boom when it's dark. Pulled up, blowing loud in Charlie Hill Park. Around the clock, my niggas scheming, American dreaming. Wanting that piece of the pie, and won't stop till they eating. Get rich or not trying, whatever. They looking at us like the worst, but it's better for better. Every day I rise and shine, my mind's on the cheddar. Plays gotta make those. Racks in my shoebox, let know. Better keep you 2 Glocks. These streets ain't made for no something to live. He caught slipping, serving something hot, that Buffalo deal. Yeah, you heard right. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, man, you crazy. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, you got me fucked up. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, could believe that. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, man, you heard right. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, man, you crazy. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, you got me fucked up. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, could believe that. Never stop hollering about where I'm from. Trying to represent if you from Uptown, get up. Columbus, Georgia, nigga, you from Uptown, get up. Why you sitting down if you from Uptown, get up. That's right here for my people, you from Uptown, get up. Every day on the move, we breaking all the rules. Already shooting bad, a nigga ain't got shit to lose. Cause nowadays times is harder than ever before. But Uptown, yeah, we get it how we live, bro. Determination and hunger will turn you to a monster. I ain't gotta touch you, my young homies will stomp ya. From Carb Ave all the way over to 15. Best be quick on your feet, or get that ass beat. This shit trip from here right on the way down to Wilson. The body shop, yes, of course, my East Holler nigga. They in the 23rd, late night in front of Lorenzo. Or at the Sugar Shack, posting in a pair of Timbos. Drama always went down, scary niggas broke out. Saw him win a few rounds, but didn't last the whole bout. I know the great pain that I spent in my hood. It made me the man I am today for life. Bellwood, yeah, you heard right. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, man, you crazy. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, you got me fucked up. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, could believe that. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, yeah, you heard right. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, man, you crazy. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, you got me fucked up. Never stop hollering about where I'm from, could believe that. Never stop hollering about where I'm from. Trying to represent if you from Uptown, get up. Columbus, Georgia.
Bellwood, baby. Bellwood, Georgia, man. It's been a pleasure. Episode 9 of the Chemotherapy Podcast, having my mother on the episode. It's been a pleasure, man. Appreciate all the support and all the love, man. Keep checking me out, man. We're going to keep it going. We're not going to stop. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. Thank you, mother, for being a part of the podcast.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part, and whether you know it or not, I watch your show 7 days a week. Whatever you release, I watch it all week.
Appreciate the love and the support. That's love. Hope everyone enjoyed the episode. Appreciate you checking me out. Let me work on me. Work on you. Let's make us a better us. Happy birthday to my sister Daphne. 46. 46 chapter. Love you, Daphne. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Become a part of the family. Let's keep this thing going. I like that. You like that?
Yes.
That's my mother, man. It don't get no better than this. One love to everybody. Prosperity. Longevity. Do you. Be the best version of you. Never give up. Keep climbing. Elevate. We gotta start loving one another. We gotta start supporting one another. If you don't like me, that's fine. I can't fault you. But I can't cater to you also. I gotta push you to the side and keep it moving. I'm only dealing with those that got love in their heart. No hatred involved. We're not dealing with no negativity at all. From this day forward, only positivity, positive vibes, positive energy. It's more things to life than sitting around thinking about how you feel about me. Live your best life. Do whatever it is that you feel to do. Do whatever it feels that brings you joy. But remember, when you look good,
You feel good.
why?